The atmosphere of KYRS is energizing. I work here, but it's not the typical kind of feeling that you have about a job. I don't feel like I have to come here. I think I'm lucky and I get to come here. What KYRS does is gives the community access to the airwaves and gives them a voice on the airwaves. You don't have to go through formal broadcast school training. You don't have to have a radio station or be hired by a radio station. What people do is they present their idea as a program proposal, something that they're passionate about, and we cover every spectrum you could imagine, on this radio station. I have been here for 15 years now. I started working here at KYRS the year after it started. When it first started, I was asked to come and start a radio program, but I was very busy. I had a retail store. I teach traditional West African percussion, and I had a full-time performing group, and there was just no time to do a radio show. And then I eventually stopped doing some of those things, and so I got a hold of KYRS, and I said, okay, now I'm free, and I would love to do a radio program.
The nice thing about community radio is you don't have to individually become a licensed broadcaster to be able to go on the microphone and broadcast. When you're contracted through KYRS, you're legally allowed to broadcast on the air. That's a real unique asset that the community has. And so it's amazing that just people like you, me, can actually go on and become bona fide radio broadcasters. I really feel like somewhere along the line every day might just be a ripple effect, but some positive addition is being made to our community every single day behind these microphones.
I think that community radio is alternative media when you consider what you see out there. The vast majority of media that's presented to you is very, very, very curated. There are very specific ideas that somebody wants to present. You end up with kind of talking points and points of view where you'll see over different programs and different stations the exact same kind of talking points and ideas being presented. With community radio, one of the things that's very important to me, and it's important to the station too, is every person that has their program, that is their program. Nobody tells them what to say, suggests that they do anything in particular, but you approach that person, that programmer, and that programmer is sovereign over their show. So their views and opinions that they're expressing on those shows, the people that they bring on as guests to be interviewed, the music that they play, they're sovereign. They decide what's going on in that time slot that they have. So it's very, very different. The reason I have this in my ear is because of KYRS. When I had my radio show, the first on-air fund drive I was involved in, I thought, oh, I really wanted to encourage people to call and donate. And so I told them, it's like, I think having your ear pierced is cool. I'm terrified of it. I'm terrified of having something poked through my ear, and yet I think this is ridiculous. I see little girls who have this and they're fine. But I'm still scared of it. I'm irrationally afraid. So I said, I'll tell you what I do. I'm very, very afraid of this. Anyone who will call in and donate $150 right now, I will get my ears pierced on the air. We did that, got a $150 pledge, and it's like, okay, now I've committed to it, I have to do it. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get something small, let's get something large, So I went out and talked to somebody who did piercing and invited him to come in and do that. We did. We pierced it right on the air. And so that was very, very fun. That was part of my introduction to community radio.
Well, actually, my favorite story would probably not be necessarily covering something, but our main transmitter is up on a mountain about halfway to Canada. And so if there's trouble there, we have to drive up to it. And it's about the same elevation as Mount Spokane. And it's a fire road that leads up to it. And so if it's the middle of winter, it's quite the interesting drive. And my favorite story looking back is going up there with our audio engineer, Dale. He was driving. He's a hang glider instructor, and he has no fear of heights, and he's an excellent driver. But I'm in the back seat going down this fire road mountain in the middle of winter, just praying that Dale is watching the road and not looking out, daydreaming about hang gliding. If you want to hear the dialogue that that's not being talked about on the major networks. It's not owned by one of the 6 major broadcasting companies. If you want to hear the other side, this is where you want to go.
Community radio is a wonderful democratizing opportunity for anyone to become involved and get their voice and ideas out there and get them heard.